If you're looking at creating a lot of impact and making cool cash for yourself from the online space today as a creator, then you actually want to focus on a couple of areas that are less saturated and are also fast evolving. And this particular area right here, it's where you're podcasting. And podcasting actually seems like one of those old kids in the block, but I've actually seen podcasting evolve over the years and even have an infusion of several video formats inside of it that has made it more interesting, more attractive, and definitely fetching a lot of money and creating impact for these creators. Now, in this particular video today, I want to share with you guys a simple step-by-step guide on how we can actually get started podcasting as a creator in 2024 and even beyond now, so that you can actually follow through this particular guide and get exposed to how to create your own podcast for yourself and make the most out of it in this very space. Now, I've put in a lot of effort and done a lot of research for this particular video, and this single video is going to be very relevant in the next coming years, and most importantly, would give you all of the things you actually need to do and everything you need to know in order to get started podcasting and making the most out of it. Now, we're going to be going through the introductory aspect of podcasting, and then we will delve into the several equipment that you basically need in order to get started as a podcaster and also to achieve success in your podcasting business. And most importantly, I'm going to be walking you through one single tool that is going to solve all of the problems or all of the concerns you have about getting to edit your full podcast and most importantly, publishing this podcast to several platforms out there on the internet. With this full process right here, you are going to be able to make the most out of this space as a podcaster, and the sky is only going to be your starting point. Now, if this particular topic is one that you're interested in, then you basically want to go ahead and grab a cup of tea, sit down right back there and watch this particular video to the very end, because I'm going to be leaving no stone unturned. Now, when it comes to podcasting, I usually categorize this under content creation, but this time where we basically are focused on creating audio formats or audio files of whatever information that we actually want to pass across to our audience. And we actually have our subscribers who get to listen and watch every other episode of what we create. I would actually count that at the beginning of my online journey, I usually would listen to a lot of podcasts. I was subscribed to several podcasts and I was actually getting a lot of information from all these places. And when you also go ahead and do a quick stats or check up on several listeners worldwide, you'll basically see that the world of podcasting has actually been gathering a lot of attention in the past few years. Now, today, podcasting has not even stopped or slowed down a bit because people have actually get to transform podcasting from audio files to even creating video formats of their podcast. And this has even made it more interesting than it has always been. Now, there are actually three major things that you basically need to keep in place before you can actually start your podcast and get successful at this. And I'm going to walk you through these three major things right now. Now, the very first one here is your equipment. Now, when it comes to equipment, this might be the area where most of us might actually have concerns about. And we are looking at audio equipment and also video equipment if you're looking at infusing the thought of video into your podcasting, which most probably is the new style today. Now, when it comes to the audio side of things, we are looking at the several mics that you can actually get started with. You can actually get started with recording audio using a K9 wireless microphone, which might actually cost about $20. Or you can also look at the Rode wireless microphone, which might actually cost about $50 to $100. Or you can want to go the high end and use a mic like this one I'm currently using right now, which is the Shure SM7B, to give you a better quality audio, and it might actually be costing about $400, $500. Now, all of these mics here are actually going to be producing very good audio sound for you, and I can even tell you that as a beginner, when it comes to your podcasting journey, you necessarily don't need any big equipment to get this to work. Sometimes people have actually even used their iPhone microphones to shoot, and it has also sounded very great for them. Now, when we go over to the video side of things, I love to also try and cut as much expense on this other area, and I would basically just ask that you can get started with shooting with an iPhone 11 upwards. So let's say the iPhone 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and beyond, or you just want to go ahead and if you have to use a camera, you can go on the low end to get a Sony ZV-E10. Now, sometimes when it comes to podcasting, especially when you have somebody else on the other side, and you might actually want to capture this from two angles, you might want to be also considering two different cameras in this particular case. But then it's also good to have a camera with a wider angle, and with this way, you are going to be able to use one particular camera to capture both participants of this particular podcast episode at that given point in time. Now, the next category of things we actually want to be looking at right now is your design. And when it comes to design, we're looking at the look, the feel, and the aesthetically pleasing flyers or logo you might actually want to design for your brand. And this is where we might actually want to look at Canva. Now, Canva is a simple tool that makes designing very easy and fast. Now, when you open up Canva right here, as you can see on the screen, you can simply go ahead and just search for podcast, okay? Now, on a quick search for podcasts, you are going to be basically getting a couple of templates around the podcasting space. Just basically different designs that you can actually just copy from. Now, this makes it very easy so that you don't have to overthink any process and just get on with what matters, okay? Now, like this, you can easily just come over here and let's say you pick up a design like this one, okay? And you want to customize the template. And let's say this particular podcast is going to be Franklin's podcast. So I'm going to come over here right now and I'm just going to make edits on this particular name, right? Instead of Stewart, and I will just do Franklin's podcast. So you guys can see that right now. You can make other changes to every other text based on the timing for your podcast uploads and a couple of other things necessary on this particular space. But then I think this actually is very okay and works for me. So I'm going to be downloading this down into my laptop and get to use it, okay? Now, once you are done with your design, then you have actually done about 50% of the work, and you actually want to go into a couple of planning where you want to start figuring out how you're going to be creating content, the time intervals when you're going to be publishing your content, and a couple of those. We're going to be discussing that towards the end of this video. Now, the next major thing you actually want to be looking at right now is your planning, so your recording, so the editing of the audio files, and your polishing before you can proceed to publish this podcast out to the internet, okay? And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys one single tool that has made this particular process to be very seamless and easy for even a complete beginner. You can actually just pick up from this particular video right now and get started with this particular process, and you can publish your podcast right in the next minute. Now, this particular tool right here is called Podcastle. Now, Podcastle is an all-in-one place for podcasting. Now, Podcastle empowers creators of all backgrounds and experience levels with an intuitive AI-powered podcasting software. Now, this particular software right here actually takes up all of the hard tasks around your podcasting journey and makes every single thing seamless and very much possible in the shortest period of time. Now, inside of here, we are looking at the recording studio where you can simply do your records from on the space to the audio editor, to the video editor, to the AI revoicer, and also the hosting hub. Now, the Podcastle itself also has an iOS mobile application, and this basically means that you can easily get started with this right there using your iPhone, which simply enables you to create and edit and publish a podcast right on the go. Now, I'm coming over here on the website right here. As you can see, all I simply need to do right now is to create a new project. And let's say I'm creating a new project right here. I will be naming it Project 3 or Franklin's Project, okay? And right on here, you can basically just get a quick glance on everything that this particular simple tool is going to be offering you. Now, you can actually get started with recording audio on here. And this is when you actually just want to click on the record audio option, and this particular option just kickstarts immediately. For example, I can go ahead and start recording right now, and you're just going to basically see that it is really recording a couple of sounds from myself on here in this very space. Now, this is going to simply help you to easily just plug in all of your audio devices inside of your desktop and easily do a quick record from your desktop straight up into Podcastle tool, and you don't have to start moving your files around for any reason because it is all inside of this very space. Now, once your audio has been fully recorded, you actually have the option to transform your audio quality and make it sound way much better, okay? And this is where you have options like the audio clarity and restoration, the noise removal, the dynamic range enhancement, and the EQ and also tone balance. Now, on clicking on apply of this particular effect right now, you're going to be getting a quick restoration of that sound that you have recorded right here in Podcastle. Now, this is not all, because you also have the option to import another audio or video right here in this space. So for example, you have recorded another audio from a different device, or you have a video that has been captured from somewhere else. You can easily import it and then merge all of this together right here in Podcastle as well. Now, another option you also have is to even proceed to generate your own content right inside of here. And this is where we are going to be putting in a couple of text right on here, and we can actually get to transcribe this particular text or generate a couple of content on here based on the AI capabilities that is in this tool. As you can see right now in this text editor, you have the option to choose different voices that you can use for this particular AI voice creator. And let's take, for example, we choose someone like Kenny, and I can just simply type in, I can say, I am Franklin. And once I just simply click on generate, you're going to be seeing that it's going to take a little while to load up, and there's going to be a voice that would voice that particular text that I have written.
I am Franklin.
Now, you basically just heard that, and this even makes it possible for those of us that are looking for a very good tool that would actually turn our text into voices. And with a wide range of several AI voices that is available right here, you have different choices to choose from and different things to work around. Now, let me also share that during your podcasting editing right here, you have the option of adding a couple of new tracks. It could be new tracks in form of music, in form of sound effects, and a couple of other uploads you might also want to make. So you can basically just see here in the music section, you have a couple of musics that you can simply add to, make your podcast very interesting, or you can simply go ahead and add a couple of sound effects on here as well. There are several sound effects that are here that you can simply just add on just to make it more interesting, more attractive, and keep people spun through that particular podcast's episode. Now, it's going to be also interesting to note that Podcastle also helps you to remove all of your filler words. So all of those ums and ahs and those filler words you use when you are recording your podcast, Podcastle simply helps you take them away and gives your voice or your podcast episode a very good flow. Now, with Podcastle still, you have the option to also record videos on here and make a full edit. As you can see on the screen right now, this is me actually about to recording my video on here with Podcastle. Now, this particular option gives me the option to simply do a quick record of myself, my screen, and a couple of other things. So you can see once you've been able to select all of the toggles you want on here, you can simply go ahead and enter the studio to start doing this record for you. Now, this simple option actually allows you to even invite a couple of other participants, and with this you actually have the option to invite other participants on here who are going to be joining you to make a very good online podcast, especially when you have your podcast episode that are not present or you can't reach them physically. Now, this option also allows you to share your screen just like every other tool would do. Imagine getting all of this feature right inside of one single tool. Now, there is also a video editor right inside of Podcastle that gives you the opportunity to polish your video recordings and make them ready for the prime time. Now, this particular video editor actually gives you access to, adjusting the size and layout of your videos, customizing your background, your subtitles, adding a couple of lower thirds, which might include your name, your title of each participant in your podcast, and also adding trees of text and logos right in the same space. Now, with all of this done, you might actually want to be asking, Franklin, how exactly do I get to publish my podcast to as many people as I can? And this also is taken care of by Podcastle because they have a hosting hub where they can actually get your podcast episode out to as many people as you want. And this hosting hub allows users to seamlessly host and publish their shows and episodes to any and all major podcast distribution platform. And we're talking about Spotify, we're talking about Apple Podcast, and a couple of others. Now, as a user, you will be getting a dedicated hosting page where you can create an RSS link for sharing and gain access to embed your content anywhere on the web. Now, even YouTube itself has also given creators the opportunity to start creating podcasts. As you can see right here on YouTube, you have the option of uploading a new podcast right on here in this very space. Now, this also opens you up to several more platforms that are going to be allowing you to be able to publish a podcast more and more, and this might actually mean more for you as a creator. Now, the Podcastle itself is actually not totally free, but then you have the option of even starting with a free account. Now, with all of the features and every of what I'm going to be getting right inside of this one single tool, I was really expecting something even much more expensive. But look right here on their pricing plan, you can get started with a free account that gives you multiple track recording for 10 remote guests, unlimited audio recordings and editing, 3 hours of video recording, unlimited podcast hosting and publishing, and you can collaborate with your whole team. And this is even one of the options I love the best because sometimes running the podcast might not be done by you yourself. You might have a team And the free option actually even allows you to collaborate with your team right on here. Now we have the storyteller option that actually even gives you more AI capabilities, but then at a very affordable pricing at $11.99 per month, and also the pro version and also for teams. Now this is actually one of the best tool that I would say currently is on internet for any content creator right now. And I would really want you to jump and take this opportunity right now while it is still at your feet, because I don't know what's going to be solving with the team, and I would really say that this is a steal and you actually want to get to make the most of it at this very time. Now what I'm going to be doing right here is to leave the link to access this tool right now in the comment section below, but then I know you guys may actually still want a little bit more, and if you have a couple of questions, you have some concerns, please let me know in the comment section below of this particular video, and I'm going to be creating or even answering all of the concerns and questions you have right down there for you guys. Now my aim here is to help you guys to find several means to create impact and make money in the online space, and this is a very good option for you to get started with your podcast right now. Now go ahead now guys and use the links I have in the description to jump on this ASAP, create an account for yourself and play around this simple tool, get started with this, and I really hope that you achieve so much more success in this space with this particular tool. Okay, so guys, this is it for this particular video today guys, and I really hope you love it. If you do, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe to the channel, smash the bell icon so that you do not miss any of my videos. With this guys, I'll be seeing you in my next video.